In this section, I want to show you another type of configuration in your BGP autonomous system, and that's going to be confederation. And before this, I want to tell you something. I have reverted the configuration so that router 1 is not anymore a route reflector. Again, I have relationship between router 4 and router 2, router 2 and router 1, router 1 and router 3, and this is because confederation is another type of solving the problem that we had in previous section, that is the black holes that are created on router 1 router 3 because router 1 and router 3 did not receive the routes from router 2. And the cause was these were internal BGP neighbors, and internal BGP neighbors do not send advertisement to each other. So let's go and talk about confederation. What is confederation? I select some of routers and put them into one group. For example, I select router 4 and router 2 and put them into one group and tell them that you are confederated. This way, they will act internally. They will act as internal BGP neighbors, but with other confederation, they will have communication as if they are external BGP neighbors. For example, if I put router 1 into another confederation, if I create neighborship between router 1 and router 2, although these two are inside AS65000, they will act as if they are external BGP neighbors. So, router 2 will send any internal BGP prefixes that has in its database to router 1. Router 1 will send it to router 3 if router 3 is another confederation, and I'm going to do this like this. And this way, all my routers know about BGP routes. And how many routers should you put in a confederation? Normally 3 is the best number. Less than 3 is not good. More than 3 is not good. But I prefer to have 3 routers into one confederation. But because here I have a limited number of routers, I have to act like this. You can see that I have put only 2 routers into confederation. Here, just one into another confederation and just one into another confederation. Now, I want to give a number to these confederations. For example, the number here is going to be confederation number 24. This confederation is going to be number 1. And this confederation is going to be number 3, just to be clear about the numbers. So, these numbers are going to be set in their autonomous systems. So let's go and do it in practice and show you how this confederation are going to be set. If I go to, for example, router 4, you can see that again I have created a neighborship between router 2 and router 4, and this neighborship is established. Now I need to change the configuration a little bit. I go to instances, double click on this, and here AS number is going to change. And what is the actual number that I am going to put there? This number, the confederation ID. Actually, router 2 and router 4 are in confederation number 24. So I select to have AS number as 24. But how am I going to tell this router that you are under AS number 65,000 actually? All these routers know that they are inside the confederation, but at the same time they know that they are under AS 65,000. So how am I going to do this? I need to go here under confederation and set the confederation as the actual autonomous system number. Okay? I need one more piece of information, and that's confederation peers. This confederation, number 24, has direct communication with federation number 1. So these two should know about this. So I will go and tell that confederation peer number is 1. the only confederation peer that I have. I can add as many as I like, but I only have just one, and that's the number 1. So click on apply, click on OK. Okay, I need to go to router 2 and change the configuration a little bit. Again, I go to instance, double click on this. Instead of AS number, I put the confederation number here, but inside confederation text box, I add the actual autonomous system number. Again, I need to tell this that it has direct communication with confederation number 1. Click on apply and click on OK. If I go to peers, I can see that after a moment, router 4 and router 2 should have an active neighborship between these two. Let's go to router 4 and check the peers here. You can see that router 2 is stuck in active. But what is the problem? If I double click here, I can see that the remote AS number is 65,000. Actually, it is not 65,000 right now. We are using confederation number 24. So I select to have number 24 here. And let's go to router 2 and do the same thing. Router 4 and router 2 are using 24 as their remote address. Okay. Let's go back to router 4 to show you something. You can see that ISP1 and router 4 do not lose their neighborship. Although I have selected to use AS number 24, but actually I am confederating under AS number 65,000. So ISP1 does not know anything about number 24. It has created a neighborship with me in confederation under in AS number 65,000. So there will be no problem. Okay, let's go to router 1 and change the configuration on router 1. Actually, you know that router 1 is in its own confederation number 1. So I click on default, change the AS to 1, and change the confederation to 65,000. You can see that I have swapped these two. And the confederation peer. Confederation number 1 has direct communication with confederation number 24 and number 3. So I need to add 2 confederation peers here. I add number 24 and I add number 3 as confederation peers. Click on apply, click on OK, and need to go to peers and change these values. Router 2 is in remote AS 65,000, but actually it is going to act as an external BGP neighbor. So its actual remote AS is going to be 24, the confederation ID. And advanced is using loopback 0, that's it. So click on OK, and after a moment it should work. But I need to change it on router 2 again. If I go to router 2 and select 1111, I can see that here remote AS is 65,000, but it should be 1 right now. Click on OK, and they are going to be established after a moment. Okay, if there's a problem, I am going to solve this. Let me see. Remote AS is 1, and the remote address is this. Everything is working as expected. Let's go to router 1 and check this. Here remote AS is number 24. There is no route reflection and everything should work just fine. But have I selected to have confederation peer number 24? I have. Confederation number is 65,000. I need to check router 2's confederation and configuration again. I have confederation number, that's the confederation peer. My AS is 24. Everything is working just fine. So why I don't see the state change? I need to wait for some time. Let's go and select router 1 and change the configuration for router 3 here. Router 3, as you can see, is using remote AS 65,000. So I need to go to router 3 first and change here. The AS number is going to be 3, and instead of this, configuration is going to be 65,000, and configuration peer is 1. That's it. Click on OK. Go to peers, and you can see that router 1 has entered into active state. That's because the remote AS is 65,000. It should change to 1, and we are using loopback 0 as our source. That's it. Click on OK, and let's go to router 1 and reflect the change here. Router 3 should have remote AS as remote AS of 3. I click on OK. Now you can see that these are in active state. What should I do to correct this issue? As I told you, these are going to act as external BGP neighbors. So I need to come back here, double click on this router 3 and select multi-hop. Click on OK. For router 2 again, I am going to select multi-hop. And I need to go to router 2 and router 3 and reflect the change here. Router 1 is going to be some hops away. If I select it after a moment, you can see the established here. Now I need to go to router 3 and do the same here. Multi-hop. That's okay. So in some platforms such as Cisco, you do not need to set multi-hop because they are under the same actual AS numbers. But as you see in MikroTik, this is a little different. You need to set multi-hop. Now I want to show you something interesting about the advertisement. Let's go to, for example, router 2 and check the routes. If I go to router 2, in advertisement I can see what I have in my BGP database, and as you can see, I have received the routes and I am advertising them to router 1, and these routes have an ASPath of 100. That's okay because I have received these routes from ASPath 100, and after that I am sending them to other internal BGP neighbors. Let's go to router 1 and see advertisement there. If I go to router 1, I can see that I have received some routes, and the interesting part is the actual ASPath, the external ASPath is here, number 100, and I have received it from a confederation that its number was 24. You can see that the confederation number has gone inside parentheses. I see this because of several reasons. First of all, because this is not an actual ASPath, so it goes into parentheses. And because I have this route received from confederation number 24, and this is the only confederation that the prefix has gone through, so this is the only number that I see this here. The numbers inside parentheses are called confederation sets or confed sets. Let's go to router 3. That is in another confederation. If I go to router 3, I can see that in advertisement I have received these routes that I am sending them to ISP2, and these routes have been originated in ASPath number 100. Some other routes are originated inside my own autonomous system. I can tell this because I do not see any actual ASPath here, but I see confederation sets inside the parentheses. They are originated in confederation number 24, have passed confederation number 1, and now I can receive it and send it to ISP2, as you can see here. So this is confederation set, and of course I cannot tell on ISP2 if these routes have confederation sets on them or not. But what I can tell you is this. When I am sending routes outside my autonomous system, and by the autonomous system I mean number 65,000, it goes to ISP2 that is in AS200. I remove all of confederation sets and I only put my own autonomous system number. So ISP2 will receive the paths from ISP1 with this number 100, and it goes through 65,000. So this is the AS path that AS200 will receive for the paths for the prefixes originated in AS100. So all of those confederation sets are only valid inside my autonomous system. Outside my autonomous system, I do not see any confederation sets.